Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created some facets within the human heart that are extremely important to get yourself into Jannah. Very important. Some of them we discussed. Tawbah. And these, remember my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, are actually states of the heart. They are states of the heart. Sometimes you could be feeling very generous and you give to people without them needing to ask. And sometimes you're in such a bad mood that even if they asked you for a pencil, you wouldn't give it. These are states of the heart. It's the attitude that you bring. Similarly today, I wanted to spend some time on something that we know very well, which is Sabr. There are three realms in the universe. The first realm is of complete bliss, without any grief or pain. This is called Jannah. The second realm, is that of extreme pain, without grief, without any bliss, torture. This is Jahannam. Then there is a realm where there's happiness and grief, and pain and comfort. This is the earth. This is the earthly life. Neither has there been, nor will there ever be, a place after earth which is a testing ground. This is the only place that we get tested. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was so full of vengeance, why would He create Jannah? I mean, there's no need to. Are we going to put Him on gunpoint and say, how dare you not give me Jannah? Even the prophets, if He wanted, one by one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could put all the prophets into Jahannam. Would we be able to do anything about it? No, we wouldn't. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not so unjust that He would not create Jahannam. Why? People cheat, steal, lie, and they go happily to their grave with 10 houses and 20 cars. Where's the justice? Whether it be in the Western countries, whether it be in any other country. We know of such examples. So it is Allah's justice that He created a place of torture forever, eternity. And it is Allah's mercy that He created a place for Jannah. However, you need to earn it. Just like any good thing, even in this world. You want to get a good job? You want to get a nice placard on the wall saying Masters of, degree of, Bachelors of, PhD in. If you want one of these things, you have to actually work hard. You have to roll up your sleeves and you got to work hard. You got to please some teachers. You got to go to university. You got to do these things. Otherwise, you're not going to get these things. So subhanAllah, same thing. In these three realms, there's only one that's a testing ground. Imagine that there is a person that never experienced any difficulty in his life on earth. Regardless of how rich or powerful that you are, you will feel pain and pleasure in this world. Even great messengers, prophets, they experience difficulty and worries. You know a person that wants to be immune from any difficulty. It's not the fountain of youth. This life, you're not going to get it. This aspiration that you have, I want to live forever. The degree of difficulties will definitely vary between people. But complete immunity from problems on earth is not possible. Not possible. क़ैद हयात व बंद गम असल में दोनों एक हैं. मौत से पहले आदमी गम से नजात पाए क्यों? The imprisonment of life in the shackles of grief are in fact the same thing. How then can one be saved from grief before death? Subhanallah. In summary, these are some Urdu words of poetry. You will have to face difficulty in this earth, in one form or the other. If you display impatience, constantly complaining about your worries, and laments and cries about what he got in this life, it will not be able to protect you from those worries and trials. In fact, you'll find yourself getting more trials. But you'll find the difficulty to become constraining. You know, a greater harm of his impatience is that he or she will receive nothing in return for these difficulties. If you complain during it, it could have been a means of great reward. Now, in contrast to this person, in times of pain and sorrow, A person thinks about the short-lived life that he has. How long am I going to be on earth? How long will I have financial problems? How long will I be in bad health? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala planned this to happen to me. Allah planned for me to come to Melbourne and settle here and get a visa and a passport for this place. So Allah made my job difficult for me. And right now, it's very difficult for me. But His heart is overwhelmed not with complaints. What is it overwhelmed with? This person, his heart is overwhelmed with goodness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what's best for me. So he turns to Allah and he asks Allah, make this difficulty beneficial for me. Make this difficulty that I'm going through in my work. My boss is giving me so much trouble. Now this difficulty becomes the source of good deeds. إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّ الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. Certainly those that observe patience will be given their reward in full, without measure. 39:10. It is important to note that if you feel grief in your heart, in types of difficulty, it's not sinful. Even if you cry when you are faced by an affliction, it's not an act of impatience. Impatience is when you object to Allah's decision and you complain about it constantly. Even if your heart is ablaze with grief, tears are flowing, you lost someone very close to you, you feel distressed, you want to keep crying. But there is belief in the wisdom of Allah in every matter. As opposed to objecting, why me, O Allah? You could have tested anyone, but you chose me. Look at all these people that come to Taraweeh, and I'm the one that gets sick. A sign of this patience is that whenever you experience grief, you say what? Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We belong to Allah and to Him we will return. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says regarding those, at times of afflictions they say this. أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَيْهِمْ صَلَوَاتٌ مِّن رَبِّهِمْ وَرَحْمَةٌ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمَ الْمُهْتَدُونَ. Subhanallah. Those are the ones upon whom there are blessings from their Lord and mercy as well. And those are the ones that are on the right path. 157. So our pious elders, they've rightly said to us, patience is equal to 1,000 acts of worship. One act of patience. And through it, you can get a shortcut to spirituality. Getting close to Allah in a little shortcut. If a major catastrophe comes in your life, for you to in your heart be patient and outwardly be patient and recite Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. This is better than 1,000 rak'ahs that you could have prayed. Just for that moment. One should get into the habit that we should read these words on every bad thing that happens. You break a shoelace, break a shoe, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. You know Sayyidina Salama radiallahu anha, she narrates that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, إِذَا أَصَابَتْ أَحَدُكُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ فَلْيَقُلْ إِنَّ لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّ إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ اللهم عندك أحتصب مصيبتي فأجرني فيها وأبدلني خيرا منها. When an affliction, a trial, befalls any of you, he should say, we belong to Allah and to Him we will return. O Allah, with you do I expect reward for my affliction, my trial. So reward me for it and replace it for me with something even better. This is narrated in Muslim and Abu Dawud. Subhanallah. So, my dear brothers, if it hasn't become clear to you, this patience is something that needs to stem from your heart. Very important. It is not something that you do with words. It is not something that you do with other people. It is something that you do from your heart. And if your heart is correct, your actions will already display that patience. And inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us patience in this Ramadan and allow us to become of the people that He regards as patient. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, inshallah, we have one very important announcement for everyone that is listening to this, is that subhanallah, from tomorrow, so now we've finished the first Ashara of Ramadan, So from tomorrow, inshallah, from tomorrow night, we're going to be doing a slight change to the timing. So the timing now, instead of us starting Isha and Taraweeh and so on around 9:15, and doing the bayan around 9 o'clock, we're going to be moving everything back around, so 9 o'clock will now be the Isha and the Taraweeh will start thereafter. And about 10 or 15 minutes before this, around 8:45, is going to be when the bayan will start. So inshallah, if you're already coming at 8:45, just move it back to 8:30. If you're coming at 9 o'clock, move it back 15 minutes to 8:45. So inshallah, just make sure that from tomorrow, if you come here and we've already started the prayer, that's probably why. I'll make the announcement a couple of times, so I do apologize for those people that get to hear it a few more times. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.